Look, gentlemen, I'm calling an audible. I
Mm,
have the report in front of me from Xbox Era, and
there you
I
go.
think I would do the nearly 450 people that are watching live across Twitter and of course YouTube a disservice if we didn't talk about it. So let's get into it, man. I have the article in front of me. It was written, of course, by our good friend Jesse Norris, who
Indeed.
23 minutes ago. The title says, folks, rumor Forza Horizon 5 PlayStation port announcement incoming. That's what it says. Now, multiple reputable leakers have reported that Forza Horizon 5 may be getting a port to PlayStation next week during Gamescom. This is what it goes on to say. The infamous forum Reset Era user Nate Drake and Shinobi 602 have both suggested that Xbox has a new PS5 port coming soon. Note leaker Ecstasy's One, who's a good friend of ours, then dropped a Cinco de Mayo gif, leading many to speculate that that title would in fact be Forza Horizon 5. After four titles reported as part of an experiment, one of them took off. Sea of Thieves has been one of the best selling games on PS4 and PS5 since it launched back in April, making more ports even more inevitable. I mean, look, Rebs Gaming even went out and said Shinobi says big Xbox game coming to PlayStation next week. Rebs Gaming is pretty reputable as well. I don't think he would post it if he didn't think that what was being said was true. I
Mm,
happen to really like Shinobi 602. Strangely enough, is my one of my friends on the Switch. Surprisingly enough, that's crazy,
mm.
right? And Ecstasies, I've had him on the show multiple times. He's more right than he's wrong. Look, this is probably going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And I'll say this: I am a console and platform purist. I understand that business is business. I will tell you, I don't like it. I listen. I'm always going to have that mindset from way back in the days that Nintendo, the Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Right. That's why we bought a Genesis. And
Mm.
even though I had a Super Nintendo and quite enjoyed it, I was a Genesis kid. I was also a Saturn kid, a Dreamcast kid, and so on and so forth. I happen to love Sega. That's my one of my favorite brands. Um, this is happening, folks. I'm never going to bend the knee and say I like it, but this is business. All you have to do is just take a step back. Like I know a lot of people are going to be in their feelings over this. Some people may have a temper tantrum and everything. I hear you. No one likes crossing the lines, man. And I'm the first guy to say that because I'm an old school cat. I like platforms to have their exclusives, but I'm also no longer the demographic. I'm just the guy with the money who buys the games. But there's a whole generation of people out there that are looking that listen, they're going to play games where they're going to play games, and I know again this is going to rub people the wrong way, and there's going to be a lot of discourse. I saw Abdel 114 actually post. I didn't know what he was talking about. Now it makes sense. He said, "Oh no, doom and gloom is happening." There's going to be some doomers and gloomers out there, Abdel. I'm not one of them. Look, Forza Horizon 5 is a freaking phenom of a racing game. Probably one of the best racers ever created. Think about that for a second. Just stop in your place and think about how many years of gaming there has been, and the only game that I would even remotely put like close to what I how I feel about Forza Horizon 5 is something like Burnout 3. Like Burnout 3 is one of my favorite racers. Another one is Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original 360 launch title. That's another one that's just so freaking so good, right? Well, for me, Forza Horizon is tip of the spear. It's crossed 40 million players across only Xbox and PC. Well, Microsoft wants to make money. and they saw, and again, this is it was the test. Pentiment didn't do anything because it was a very niche game to begin with. The one that upsets me, that disappoints me a bit, was Hi-Fi Rush. I don't even know if it sold 1 million copies on PS5, that's awful. I mean, that game is so freaking good that how did that not sell? But it didn't, right? And of course, Sea of Thieves. I mean, Grounded, I'm sure did some numbers. I thought Grounded was going to do better on PS5. It didn't.
It does better on the Switch.
It does better on the Switch, which that's not surprising.
Do we have stats on that?
Not quite yet.
No.
It's dribs and drabs, but not.
Yeah,
like
you get little
data.
pieces. Yeah, you get little pieces. But Sea of Thieves, folks, since it launched on the PS5, is one of the best-selling games on both the PS4 and the PS5. So it makes sense that you see something like a Forza Horizon, which, again, can somebody in the chat correct me? How many years ago? How old is that game? Is it 4?
2021.
So, all right. So
because it came out along with Halo Infinite, remember?
Yes.
Halo Infinite, and then the multiplayer came out, beta for multiplayer came out like a week or two later, right? So
November 9th, 2021.
So there you go. So obviously it's heading into.
Jesus, I'm old. I remember that too. It was like yesterday.
Yeah.
Lord help us.
So I mean, look, the game's been played by millions of people on Xbox, and Xbox is now looking at other places to make money. And they're going to make a lot of money on this. This is something that a lot of people are going to, thumb their nose at if you've already played it and you've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours playing the game like I have. You may thumb your nose. Listen, I don't have any control over this, so I've kind of just thrown up my hands. Now, I don't want to see Gears go over there. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Halo go over there. I'm just never gonna. You're never gonna hear me say, "Yeah, that's fine. It's a Halo, whatever." No. When God of War is being played on an Xbox, then we can have a conversation, but that's never gonna happen. But this game, I mean, listen, these things are happening, folks. A lot of it doesn't sit right with me, but I am not steering the ship. I'm kind of just a passenger at this point, and Xbox is going to be where I play these games. I'm going to go in reverse order. Let's get your hot take on the new report. And again, this is coming in the way of Xbox Era. The article was posted by Jesse Norris, and we have some corroborating some really big names there. Ecstasy's legit dudes. Shinobi 602. Definitely a legitimate guy. The Nate Drake guy, I don't really know who he is. I know Nate the Hate, but I don't know Nate Drake. I don't know if they're the same person or they're not, but apparently he's an insider. Okay, fine. And I know. What do you? Already, J Mac is like, wait a second. Has Xbox said anything? No. This is going to be It's going to be a big announcement at Gamescom. It's really going to shock a lot of people if it's true. This is what they're saying. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have any feelings, or is this how business is just going to work moving forward? Que Sante.
Oh, so okay. If you read my Xbox Era opinion piece, you know exactly what I'm going to say. The virtual tomatoes can come right here. I'm fine. So, quick preamble. If you didn't read that article, TLDR, when y'all were Nintendo and Genesis does, I was like, what is this console thing? And my parents were like, no. And that was my life, right? So while y'all were debating and the console and the console vendors were pitting y'all against each other, I was like that kid in the window just going, oh, I wish I could be in there with the rest of them. That's just the world I lived in. So over time, I've grown up in gaming. I have everything now. But the course of that article basically tried to explain that since a lot of people were fueled and were born and bred in that console war back and forth, this stuff is alien to you all. Like, just alien. Are you telling me I'm going to be playing my Halo or my Forza with an inline sticks? Garbage, trash, gloom and doom. Honestly, and yes, unpopular opinion. Don't worry, unpopular opinion. As a wise old slanderous one once said on this show, it's not show friends, it's show business. right? They're here to make the money. And we have seen what happens when they don't make enough of it. You can make the greatest game that everybody loves, and what will they do? We love them. They're great. Gone. Because they didn't make dollars, so they don't make sense. Shout out to you, J Mac, out there in California. You know the role. If you don't make dollars, you don't make sense. That's just the way it is. Would you rather Forza come out, make all this amazing hay, and then get closed because they didn't meet the financials? Right? It's had 40 million players. There's a world that makes 140 million players, 150 million players. Yep. All the hours that Boom, myself, and you have put into this game, does that magically poof because now it's playable on the other side? No, it does not, right? Honestly, I understand how y'all feel. I'm not trying to give it short shrift. I'm just not. But honestly, look into a mirror where no one else is looking, because right now you're going to be like, nah, I'm 10 toes down. Okay. But when no one's looking, look into a mirror and go, I'm a console warrior, aren't I? I hate that these guys are getting what I have, don't I? That's all this is. At the end of the day, it will actually benefit you when a lot more PlayStation people play it, because that guarantees you more content from these guys, right? If what do you call it? Hi-Fi Rush became a humongous smash on PlayStation, do you think they would now be in the hands of Krafton?
No,
I don't think so.
That's a great point. Yeah.
This is the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Graybeards. We are the horseshoe makers. And the Jetsons just pressed the button on their car and now it's a suitcase and they're talking to you right now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. This is not what we are used to. But guess what? We are too old. Like, what did we just talk about? That game came out in 2021. I feel like 2021 was a week ago. It was many years ago at this point. Yeah. We're all gray. We're going to be dead soon. It's tiring and sad. It is what it is. And they are now marketing to those of us who are young in this game, who don't give a crap where the game is. They don't even give a crap if they have to buy it or not. They're just, hey, is this touch enabled? Like, there's just a lot more in this game than we are used to. I would ask you to be like Boom, take your hands off of it. You know, let Jesus take the wheel and just ride with it. Just roll with it. Because if you're like, no, I don't want my Xbox games on anything. Yeah, I got something for you, man. The world is passing us by, unfortunately. It is what it is. I, for one, I may have some feelings. You know, I may have some thoughts. When I have to roadie run with an offset sticks, I'll be a little upset about. Not upset, but I would never do that. I'll just continue playing on the Xbox, or I'll play on PC with an Xbox controller. But at the end of the day, you know, as long as where you play is where they offer it to you, I don't think it's cause for huge consternation, right? When it changes enough to where they go, well, you know, we don't think we need the Xbox anymore because everybody's playing on PlayStation, then you want to go out and throw your pitchforks. I get you. But that's not the world you live in right now. They're just adding more to the existing install base. And I know many are out there going, but that's how it starts now. And then by the time eventually they'll stop. By that time, you probably won't be able to hold the controller because your gray beards will be too gray to hold the controller. It is far from now, far. They're not doing it next gen. They're not doing it 2 gens from now. It will be so far removed. You'll be one of those guys with the cane. In my day, consoles were the only way you were going to play these games. That's a long time from now. So I'm just saying, be in your feels, but understand we'll be all right. I'll give you a virtual hug. It's okay.
Well, I mean, first, it is a rumor, right? Let's just leave it at that.
Yes, it is a rumor.
We don't know this for sure, but let's say it is. I would then fully expect Halo and Gears to go as well, because that's just an obvious next step. So just keep that in mind. It's very likely that in the next year you'll see Halo and Gears on PlayStation if this happens. However, I guess from a consumer perspective, what it does mean is that Microsoft can now go and get anything they want because they're putting all their games everywhere. So don't be surprised if they pick up Take-Two. Don't be surprised if they pick up an EA. Don't be surprised because what's to stop them then? Right? If they're literally putting their crown jewels on everything, then where's the harm? Right?
There is no harm. There literally isn't any harm.
And that's going to be the thing, right? So what that means for us as Game Pass subscribers, you're just going to get more games.
You're going to get more games. Yeah.
Right.
Indeed.
So, so just looking at it from a different perspective, right? Eventually, I think the world is going to change quite a bit, but we'll see when it gets there. I think the old style console model of I build a piece of hardware that's very specific and you have to make your game to my specific thing is dead. I think people are going to be using PCs. That's what we have right now with the PlayStation and Xbox from the PS4, Xbox One gen onwards. This is why nobody needs to upgrade, because it's bloody PCs. It doesn't matter. Your game still runs. That's it. It just scales. And PC has had this forever. It just scales, right? So your next generation is going to be even more of a difficult sell because, well, your Xbox One is still working. Your PS4 is still working. Why do you need to even go to the PS5 or Xbox Series? Why would you want to go to the one after that? What's the sell? It's going to be a hard sell, right? It's the same thing with somebody who has an old laptop or an old desktop. It works. I don't care. My game keeps working. I'm good, right? They could upgrade, but they don't need to upgrade. So that's what you're going to get. And I think the whole world will kind of converge on that. And the idea that we're going to have these console, iterations all the time, I think is going to be very different. I think like the ROG came out like year to year. They just iterated, right? That's what you're going to have. It's going to be, and it won't matter. Your games will just be there. It's going to be much more PC like. This is just the world we're going to shift into because it doesn't matter. Your games keep playing on the old one. They're not taking games away. It's not like the generational change. Oh, this game only runs on the PS5, doesn't run on the PS4. That shit's going to go away. It's going to be all different, right? We're going to go to a different model where it's just going to be your games are there, backward, forward compatible. It just doesn't matter. It's always going to just be there. So the platforms become less of a thing. Now it becomes a question of content and services, right? So it's going to be the games. It's going to be a Game Pass. It's going to be your back end. It's going to be that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which Xbox is way ahead in. And, let's also say that Game Pass is significantly ahead of PlayStation Plus to the point where PlayStation Plus just recently lost 50% of its user base, right? So
for July, they lost in their two top tiers. Right? They lost nearly 50%. Yeah,
which is their Game Pass equivalent, right? The Game Pass Core is the equivalent of PS Plus Essentials, and those are where they are. But Game Pass itself is still at 30+ million, right? So, and they're nowhere near that. And their service is so bad that people are abandoning it at 50%. That's pretty ridiculously high, right? At 50% abandonment is ridiculously high. So, that's kind of where they are. Competition wise, that's where they need to go. So for Xbox, right, what I see as the vision of the future is they get rid of the platform like bias of having to have it be just this specific box. It's more of we have an open service platform. Any one of our partners can use it, and our games will be everywhere. But we will have all the big games. They said this, right? They want to be the Disney of IP in gaming. They want those big games, which is why it's very likely they will go after a Take-Two because they'll want GTA. It's that or Epic. They're going to want either Fortnite or GTA. So I would not be surprised that happens, right? I would not be surprised that happens. If they're going to put these games out there, if they're going to put Halo, Gears, Forza, the triumvirate is going, then you should just expect that they're going to go in for one of these big publishers. Everybody says they should slow down. And I'm like, dude, does business slow down? When does business say, you know what?
It just
we
doesn't.
Made enough.
Yeah.
We made enough. No, they don't. They're looking for the next big thing. And they got hundreds of billions of dollars burning in their wallet saying, where do we spend it? Where do we spend it? So they're going to go get whatever, right? And it's going to be AI stuff. And this is their other growth vector. It just is, right? So they're going to spend here. And they have very obvious targets they can go after. GTA will make tons of money.